Hi, and welcome to PowerViews. I'm Dan McDade, your host and president of PointClear. PowerViews is the show dedicated to finding solutions to some of today's toughest marketing and sales challenges. And my guest today is Linda Richardson. Linda is founder and executive chairwoman of Richardson, a global sales training business. She's also the author of 10 books on sales and sales management. As a matter of fact, she's working on a new book we'll talk about in just a couple minutes. She teaches sales management courses at Wharton Graduate School of the University of Pennsylvania and Wharton Executive Development Center. She began her career as an educator and an educational psychologist and transitioned to the corporate world where she developed a passion for sales effectiveness. She received a master's degree in educational psychology from Temple University. Linda, welcome to PowerViews.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to be a guest.
Well, thanks so much, and we look forward to talking about your company, which I know we were just chatting for a few minutes before we started the show here, that's primarily geared to providing business outcomes, and I love that. Let me ask you, if you don't mind, we'll just start out with you're providing maybe just a quick overview of how you would describe Richardson.
Yes, we are a global sales performance company, and you're right. Clients today are not interested in training solutions. They are truly focused on driving business outcomes, and we work with sales leaders and salespeople to understand the challenges, the business issues that they face, and provide a wide range of services to organizations, everything from their talent to sales process to a deep curriculum, sales curriculum, and embedment tools, so that people are geared up and tooled to compete in this new sales environment that we're in.
Well, what would you say has changed the most over the course of the last year? I think years, you mentioned that that you've been in this business now for 30 plus years. There's obviously been a lot of change, but what do you say are the most significant changes you've seen?
Well, I don't think it's possible to underestimate the profound change that the Internet has had on the buying habits of customers. They have changed the way they buy, and I think that has really changed the sales map, changed what salespeople need to do. I think many of the old models that had been baked into how salespeople go out and sell are irrelevant now, and everyone seems to be struggling to really come up with a new way to sell, to succeed in this new sales map, which is truly challenging. Customers are self-educating. The first thing they do when they think they have identified a need is go to the Internet. Then they use social media and check what other companies, what other contacts have done about those issues. They work with their teams at whiteboards, and the salesperson is intercepting in the sales process later. So, which is not a good thing for the salesperson. Customers do not need them for product information. They can get that themselves. So the sales conversation is changing, and it's a really very, very exciting time in selling. When I started in selling, there was a huge shift from competition started to heat up 30 years ago, and companies were looking for customized solutions, not one size fits all. And for the past 30 years or so, I'd say obviously it's changed. Of course it's changed, but incrementally. But we are now talking about a major, major change and shift. The combination of the economy, globalization, and the emerging technologies have really created a new landscape of selling. So it's a really exciting time, challenging, but I think it has really opened up a lot of opportunities for salespeople to become advisors, because customers and clients need advice. They need people to help them connect the dots. They're looking to learn, to get ideas. So it's an exciting time.
There's not a lot of companies that offer the kind of transparency that you do on your site as well as your blog. Is that something that you think is kind of a trademark of your company?
It's interesting that we're perceived that way. I think I look at the blog when I write blogs, and I don't do all the blogs at Richardson, but when I do, I don't look at it as in any way, shape, or form an avenue to pitch. I think it's a time to really raise issues and share perspectives and be very open to know that there are going to be plus and minuses to the perspectives that we share. So I think our readers really like that. I enjoy the opportunity to share ideas with them and to learn back and to get different perspectives on issues. So I think that's the purpose of the blogs, to really stimulate thinking and to learn from each other. So I think I'm always very delighted to see a lot of activity when I write a blog, and I feel that I'm sending an important message out from my perspective, and I always learn as a result. So yes, I think it is important to have a perspective, and even if sometimes it's not going to be the most popular or the most common one, put it out there and get feedback.
Yeah, I've found recently that I've decided I want to have a little more fun with my blog, so I'm going to take a little bit of a contrarian view. I wanted to talk a little bit about your clients. You've been very successful in attracting a lot of prestigious clients, such as Microsoft, Apple, Cisco, Google, Level 3 City, just to name a few. Can you explain, what it took to get those clients?
Well, we started out as a very small company, and I think over the years we really have developed a terrific reputation for excellent offerings, for producing results, and for really being genuinely client-focused. We want our clients to succeed. We have great relationships with our clients, and very often if a client leaves one place, they'll take us to the next. I think the other thing is our sales force. I am very, very proud of them. The big compliment that they always get is, we want our salespeople to sell like you do. I think they role model what we're teaching. I think, that we have a whole system. It's not just an event. A client knows that they're going to get the tools and the reinforcement and the consulting around what it's going to take to make this work that we do with them stick. And I think it's also important today, to really have that web presence. We work very hard. I know you work very hard on that, so that people can come to our site and learn. And in the process of giving, we can get also. We participate in conferences. We support the industry. So I think all of those things put together enable us to work and be fortunate enough to work with the clients that we do.
Is there a core methodology or a sales methodology, or is it literally every situation is different and unique?
There most certainly is a core methodology. There is a core sales process, a core customer buying process. We offer a model for selling. We have just radically, in the last year and a half, changed those models to incorporate what the clients need today, which is, we need to build insight, and we need to build ideas, bringing ideas, creating demand, rather than just being on the responsive end to when a client recognizes they have a need. So there are models and there are core processes. With that said, then every organization is different, and you need to really understand what's unique about that organization, just as you have to understand what's unique about the customers they sell to, and then tailor the models to match that. But fortunately, there are core processes and models that we can lean on, and that make our job of selling a lot easier, and really guide salespeople in moving things through the pipeline.
Well, thanks. I wanted to talk a little bit about your, I would have to say, a prolific author. It's easy for me to say. And the newest being Perfect Selling, the Sales Success Handbook, 20 Lessons to Open and Close Sales Now. Tell me about, the book that you're working on now, and maybe any other books you have in mind for the future.
Well, right now, my mind is pretty much wrapped around the new book. I hope to have it finished and out by January. It's practically finished now, and I have to say, I haven't been this excited about a book since the first book I published. And the first book came on the brink of a big change. It was for bankers, because initially Richardson worked with only financial institutions for 10 years, and now we're across all industries. But the book was bankers in the selling role, because for the first time bankers had to compete. And the book was exciting because it was really bringing something new. And this book is called The New Sales Conversation. And basically, it marks the end of old selling. And it really talks about selling to this highly sophisticated, self-educated, risk-averse client, and really how the models have to change, how the conversation has to change, how to help salespeople intercept the sales buyer's buying cycle earlier so that they have a competitive advantage. So the new book I'm very, very excited about it, and I feel that it's reflective of all the things that we've been changing in our programs in working with our clients and seeing really what they need in the new world that they're selling in.
It's interesting, Linda, that I've heard several speakers over the last couple of months addressing this in the same way that you just did, talking on one hand about how buyers are more empowered with information than ever, and at the same time this thought of having to maybe pull the sales cycle back a little bit or get involved in the sales cycle earlier so that you can get positioned. And the old-fashioned way of saying it is getting shortlisted before a decision is made. How do you see that balancing out? Do you see I think, for example, the challenger sale would say you have to basically take it back to zero and then work back through the process. How do you describe that to your clients and your prospects as to how do you balance between the empowered buyer with lots of information and needing to pull that sales cycle back and really, in a sense, get involved earlier?
Well, I don't see it as 100% pulling the sales cycle back. Obviously, that's ideal. But I think there are three modes of selling. I think you can respond, wait for that RFP, have a conversation and see the customer has a need, and you're in a responsive mode. There's a shaping mode, and I think that's really where salespeople can really add value also. So let's say the customer has identified the need and even has a couple of ideas about the kind of solution they're looking for. They've done some homework. That doesn't mean they're on the mark. You have a terrific opportunity if you have business acumen, if you understand the industry. My big focus is that the salesperson has to be smarter, has to be much more prepared. The marketing departments have to start providing marketing persona and marketing messages that salespeople can then use and lever, really understand the business better so they can go in as a consultant. And then the third stage or mode of selling is where you actually create the demand. You look at a client and you say to yourself, something's missing there. This client could be doing X. And I think if you're really relying completely on the respond end, it's going to be a losing battle. But we've got to move up the spectrum to the shaping end, because their clients are smart. They are going to recognize their needs. If we wait till we can only go to clients that have not recognized their needs, they're likely they won't have their jobs. That's what their jobs are to do. So I think it's a balance of the three, and all three should be in the pipeline. But to realize that the days of the reactive end are really a tough battle, and to move as far as possible down through the proactive end, and to really be prepared. How do you bring ideas to a client? You need to bring them insights, and those insights come from deep knowledge and understanding, so that you can trigger something in a client's mind that they have not set as an objective. So I see it as a balance, but certainly a shift toward being much, much more proactive and being much, much more prepared to add value. The transactional sale is going to go the way of the internet. If the client doesn't need you to figure out the solution or to implement it, that they don't need you. But most clients, I believe, in B2B sales with complex businesses absolutely do need salespeople to help them connect the dots and to bring them ideas. And the beauty is that if we can bring insights and share insights and gain insights also from clients, they can give us insights that we can then play forward with other clients. So I think it's really critical that salespeople have a knowledge portfolio that exceeds anything that they've had in the past.
And do I remember correctly that you have a phrase or a term for that preparation that a sales rep needs to have or a sales executive needs to have?
I say they have to be road ready.
Yeah, I think that was it. I remember reading something on one of the blogs that kind of thought was pretty clever.
Yeah, well, that's a chapter in the book, being road ready, and the tools are out there. There are, even if their organizations aren't helping them, there are such great tools that salespeople can lean on to cut down prep time, really cut down prep time, and be prepared to come in as a business equal, not a superior, but a business equal. And yes, you can teach customers, but you also can learn from them.
Mm-hmm. Let me switch gears just a minute here, because I know the listeners would like to know a little bit more about what you're finding the most effective way of converting website visitors to become Richardson clients. So how are you doing that?
Well, marketing is absolutely not my absolute top expertise.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are so many things that we do at Richardson that I can share with you, and perhaps that would give your listeners some insight. So I think to actually convert, I think it's important to first of all make it easy for customers to buy. That's the first rule. It's the rule of selling. Make it easier for customers to say yes. I think one of the things we use are call to action strategies, which invite the customer to take an action to do something, whether they have to download a paper or you have a contact us, so that there's a way to begin the exchange. I think it's helpful to be able to segregate the visitors by marketing persona. So in a sense, you're taking them down a particular path. For instance, you can have targeted landing pages. So you can target them by what content are they looking for, or what industry are they in, or are they looking for results or client names? What exactly are they looking for? Offer them white papers. I think the blog is an important thing to keep people coming to your sites and to engage them with interesting topics, and not just to make it a pitch. And at Richardson, we use our blog. And another thing that we do is we offer our clients our resource center, which has a lot of free tools and tips that they can tap into. So I think you have to make the website appealing. You have to make it easy for people to use. And your website is your front door today.
Absolutely. How about books you've read recently, or are reading, or online resources that you go to? Where do you get either fresh ideas or inspiration from? That's right, and I do get fresh ideas and inspiration from things that I read and things that I see. The current book I'm reading, and this may sound a little strange, is Stella Adler's On American Master Playwrights, I think is the title, because I'm very interested in communication and delivery and messaging, and books like that, more on the artistic side of that, are more inspirational to me. They just trigger or unlock ideas in my head, and she was a brilliant director who had tremendous insight into the language of these great playwrighs, and these are her coaching actors ready to perform these plays. So it's really all communication and delivery. And I also read some business books. Obviously, I've read the Steve Jobs book, which I loved. The resources, I more use the resources that are out there. My first resource
was Gerhardt's Selling Power magazine, and I still turn to it. I turn to their website. I think it's great. I subscribe to McKinsey and the Wall Street Journal, Google Reader, Huffington Post, HBR. I subscribe to all the top analysts to get the research and data of what they're thinking. Top Sales, I think, is a terrific website. I connect with a number of blogs just to see the current thinking, and if something strikes me that I really think I can add something to the conversation, I do. And if I think it's already been said, I don't. I think I turn to a lot of current things.
I don't know. Are you like me that you get frustrated that there's just more to get to than you can get to?
It's really true. It's like drinking from a fire hose or something. I used to be able to get to everything I wanted to get to, and I see now that it really. I think they say work smarter, not harder. I don't think that's going to be a phrase around very long. I think you have to work smarter, of course, with the wonderful tools, but I think we have to work harder. I think the idea of the 8-hour a day for someone in sales is going by the wayside.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Think?
Well, I couldn't agree more. As a matter of fact, 20-something years ago, I used to get this publication that I looked forward to. It was a newsletter called the First Friday Report. I don't know if you remember that. And we have the First Friday Report, but it was something like First Friday, but it was a newsletter that was about 4 pages long, and you could pretty much read that and understand everything that was going on in catalog marketing, on a weekly basis. And now, I agree with you, and I think the younger generation that's, really interested in work balance, I think the way that it's put, is a little bit shell-shocked because, they're under a lot of pressure to perform. And I know it even in our own company, there's being able to keep up with all of the details that are involved in just even handling one deal. It's just a lot of stress, and it's real different, particularly for the young folks, I think, today.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you say that because, there was that period, in the 80s where this big message and into the 90s was balance. And I think you're right. I think it is going to be shocking for a lot of people that, grew up with that concept, because we are now really under tremendous pressure.
There's more work
we
and
love
fewer
what we
people.
do.
That's right. Yeah, there's more work and fewer people to do it. Well,
right.
To wrap up, what are your thoughts about looking forward to 2013? Are there some big things going on that you think are going to be important for folks to be aware of? What's your outlook, I guess, for 2013?
Well, I'm a really optimistic person, and my outlook is that I'm seeing sales organizations realizing that it's important to really retool the salespeople on their teams, and I believe there's going to be a real resurgence in developing people and really gearing them up for the new sales landscape. And I think that marketing and selling, finally, we've been hearing about it for 15 years. I think marketing and selling finally will become aligned, and marketing will not only be doing the branding and all of the things that it does so well, but they're going to have a part in the sales conversation to really help salespeople be more prepared and more knowledgeable and bring more value. So I'm optimistic. I'm excited about the new sales models that salespeople will be learning. It's time to put a lot of the old models aside.
Well, tell us the name of the book that's coming out again in January, and also, if you don't mind, maybe how our viewers and listeners can get a hold of you if they have some questions they want to follow up with.
Oh, I would love to hear from everyone. Yes, please reach me. I'll give you my personal email is linda@lindarichandson.com, and I would love to hear from you. And the new book is The New Sales Conversation, and it's really about breaking all the rules. So it's I would love to hear any ideas or feedback, because I think that's how we all stay sharp, by talking and listening to each other.
Well, I'll buy a book and I'll send it to you to autograph it for me, so I have one of the first ones off of the press. Linda, thanks again for being with us today. I really appreciated it and enjoyed chatting with you. But for now, this is Dan McDade signing off from this edition of PowerViews. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
thank you.